Formula One has been around for some time now and is at the heart of every motorsport fan. There have been many who've graced this beautiful motorsport with their craft. Names like Ayrton Senna, Niki Lauda, and Michael Schumacher are bonded with the brand. One such name is that of Sebastian Vettel, who's a three-time world champion, but unfortunately, he has bid farewell to Formula One now. That's what we'll be talking about in this video. First off, what did his long-term rival, Lewis Hamilton, have to say? Lewis and Vettel's rivalry hasn't been a secret. Everyone knows how hard these two have both been going at it, especially when it comes to pure racing. Lewis has been unstoppable for almost a decade now, and the only guy who ever came close to challenging him before Verstappen was Seb, who fought him for every point during his years at Scuderia Ferrari. This weekend's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix marked the end of four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel's historic 16-year F1 career, which included 53 race wins, before stating his expectation that Vettel will return to the sport.
Well, it's Sebastian Vettel's turn now.
Hamilton joked about how the German had been a problem early in their careers. Hamilton talked about how Formula One has a way of taking you back in and seems pretty confident that Seb will be back on the grid in no time. Hamilton got a bit poetic, saying that seeing off your rival does things to you. He said, "It's not a goodbye, it's a see you." Lewis was probably crying a little when he said this. It's funny how he further said that he is gonna put his money into this. The 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where he and Hamilton sparred during a safety car period, was specifically mentioned by the Aston Martin driver as a turning point in their relationship. Up next, is this his final goodbye? It hasn't been the first time when a driver has retired and later made a comeback to the grid. Let's face it, goodbyes are hard, and drivers are due to take a sabbatical sometimes, and then are just pulled back in due to their love for the sport. If anything, Vettel is still young. 35 doesn't seem like the age where you retire, but he has been developing interests outside of the world of racing, or at least he has expressed his desire to pursue other hobbies. Wouldn't you get bored with something if you do it for 16 years? But mostly, he has expressed how he wants to spend more time with his family now. When asked if the fans would ever see him in other sports, he replied ambiguously and gave little away in his usual cool and chilled out manner.
A lot of things that I realized. I think it's a huge privilege being in the position that we are in, and with that comes some responsibility, so I hope to pass on a little bit to the other drivers.
But having done this all his life, he didn't deny that he wouldn't miss it. Now for what's going through his mind for his final race. In recent years, Vettel has made an effort to spread the word about non-F1 areas he's passionate about, like climate change and human rights. Seriously, Seb has been a champion of human rights, and he doesn't plan to back down from it at all, even in countries where the freedom of speech has been restricted.
It does, and you're right. You know, you're right when you laugh, because I mean, there's questions I ask myself every day, and I'm not a saint, in terms of...
Seb hasn't shied away from expressing his opinion about certain subjects. People were naturally curious to know how Seb came to his decision. Vettel pointed out that his final year with Ferrari, 2020, wasn't a good year for him at all, and that this was when he was starting to doubt his skills in the sport. Seb shared his thoughts and stated that he wanted to be surprised by himself. He did talk about how he's still coming to terms with his decision, but ultimately, he'll be happy about it. Vettel further said that he really enjoyed his time working at Aston Martin. Now, that's clear. Coming up next, how did his final race go? Vettel had a 10th place finish in his final race and ended his legendary career by grabbing his final points for the team. Different events have been held to celebrate Vettel's final race, including a track run on Saturday night that the four-time world champion organized for the audience. Before the race, the other drivers celebrated Vettel with a guard of honor, and after the finish line, he performed donuts on the track. After getting out of his car, he gave an interview in front of the main grandstand, which is usually only given to the top 3 finishers. He stated, "I feel a bit empty, to be honest. It's been a big weekend. We definitely think this was really emotional. It's hard to overlook the outlandish Sebastian Vettel, who used to not have a care in the world. Seb is a generational driver, and he's always going to be unforgettable. Drivers with spirits like him are very rare. They're hard to come by, and more than that, they're very hard to let go of." Moving on, Formula One drivers united to have a farewell dinner for Vettel. All 20 drivers attended a farewell meal to honor Vettel's tremendous F1 career before his exit.
Hot shoe with a great sense of humour, who just makes you love Formula One all over again.
Seb is part of my career, I think, because
A group portrait, their dinner, and many more images from the event were revealed in the photos. Word is that Hamilton paid for everyone's bill, and more than several other drivers, several of whom were former teammates of Vettel's, paid tribute to him on Thursday before the race. Daniel Ricciardo, a former teammate of his at Red Bull, praised him a lot, calling him an extremely caring person, but is a very raw competitor. Seb surely won Leclerc's heart too. Next up, why won't the Formula One family let go of Vettel easily? Vettel has been phenomenal, and he's the perfect example of someone with great class. His charm is shown by what his previous teams had to say about him. Let's start with his time at Ferrari. Even though he's not driving for them anymore, Ferrari hosted its farewell event for him, just as they did for Kimi Raikkonen last year when he retired. They still consider him a part of the family. Team boss Mattia was all praises for him. He mentioned how Vettel has been outstanding, amazing, and they had been really lucky to have him drive for Ferrari, saying how it had been 6 important years with him. He talked about how Seb brought a lot as a person, more than what he could bring as a driver, and that's evident by how every Ferrari fan loves him. Binotto led the farewell event for Vettel in Abu Dhabi.
I think for that the last 2 years have been great for me. So thank you for the support, thank you for all the messages, the letters, and all the love in general. So
Moreover, a signed engine cover was also presented to him. Not gonna lie, that's a cool move by Ferrari. Binotto also mentioned how telling Vettel he wouldn't be a part of the team was one of the hardest conversations he has had in his career. Now, can his years at Ferrari be regarded as a failure? Binotto addressed this important question as well. It's not a secret that Vettel regards his years at Ferrari as a failure. Binotto addressed this important question as well. It's not a secret that Vettel regards his years at Ferrari as a failure, but Mattia addresses this more. Binotto clarified how Seb's objective was always to win the title with them, and that was the dream they were pursuing. That didn't come through, but he talked about how this wasn't related to the success they had achieved as a team. He did come very close to getting the title, but not having done that when it was their sole objective can be regarded as a failure. But the way Seb has made a place in the heart of every Ferrari fan also means that his years on the team might not have had titles, but the love he brought is something extremely special. Finally, let's talk about his time with Red Bull. He didn't fail at Red Bull though, where he won his 4 titles. That run alone earned him a spot with the all-time greats. Yes, for the majority of that time, RBR was without a doubt the best car, but in 2 of those years, it was a tight contest, and Vettel had to work hard to win. Horner talked about Seb's charming personality and the amazing energy he brought to everyone surrounded by him. He mentions how he gets chocolates for the receptionist and the secretaries. In Horner's words, he called him a brilliant character. Seb has left with him phenomenal memories by making the impossible seem easy, and by going above and beyond his capabilities and exceeding every expectation, which created some phenomenal moments for the fans and him alike. Horner also acknowledged the memories he had with Seb off the track as well. This gets funny. Seb apparently used to visit his farm in the countryside and would get involved with the process of the birth of lambs. Horner talked about how a local farmer once came in and helped Sebastian pull a couple of lambs out. This is one of the coolest stories we have heard. Horner found it hilarious that Seb wasn't recognized at all, and no one had a clue that he was a 4-time Formula One world champion. This has been a wholesome video for us. Until we meet again, Sebastian Vettel. That's a wrap for this video. What are your views on Vettel's retirement? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.